Do drunk drivers make you mad? Well, if they do, I've got just the person for you to meet. Her name is Jennifer Carr, and she's the Newcastle County Coordinator for M.A.D.D, which is Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. Jennifer, welcome to Focus Delaware.
Thank you.
Jennifer, what are the objectives of M.A.D D, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers?
M.A.D D has three primary objectives. First is to work with victims or survivors of the drunk driver, either through support through their grieving period or working with them going through the court system to see that either if it was a child or whoever was killed or even injured, that they get represented properly in the courts. Also, we work with the legislators in trying to see that Delaware's laws are as effective as possible, and public information, so make people aware of how serious the problem is in Delaware.
When was M.A.D D first organized?
M.A.D D was organized in May of 1980 as a result of a hit-and-run drunk driving accident. A 13-year-old girl was killed. The man was out on bail just 2 days from another hit-and-run drunk driving accident, and he had 3 prior drunk driving arrests. And the child's mother was just mad that this happened to her child, and she worked around it and came up with Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. It's a little unfortunate, the mother aspect, because the group is open to anyone, man or woman, anyone that is concerned with the problem.
Now, I understand that there are M.A.D D organizations in many, many states. When did the Delaware organization first get started?
Our group is really very young. We just got started in March of this year.
And you were the founder?
No, not.
No?
There was an organizational meeting held because there were many people calling and asking if there was a M.A.D D group to the Office of Highway Safety. So they put the group together of people that were interested, and I was the most vocal then, and it seems that I'm still the most vocal.
And now, when and where does M.A.D D meet?
We're presently meeting on the second Wednesday of each month at the Central YMCA on Washington Street, downtown Wilmington.
And if viewers want to get information on joining or just general information, what number might they call?
They can call 655-0366.
What kind of legislation or modifications in the present driving under the influence legislation would M.A.D D like to see?
Well, right now we're in a very fortunate situation, I believe, because Delaware's law for DUI is going to expire. Most laws don't expire. It so happens that back in '78 our prisons were overcrowded. They were looking for a way to reduce the prison count, and so they decided they would work more along the rehabilitation level, and they made the law experimental, and it expires on June 30th this year. And about a year ago they established a committee known as the 4177 Committee, that title because that's the title of the law. It was made up of people in the drunk driving area, the police officers, the courts, drug and alcohol abuse. And this committee has formed recommendations to the present law, ways to make it more effective. M.A.D.D is backing the recommendations of the 4177 Committee with slight modifications.
Well, 4177 is actually a subsection of Title 21, which deals with driving under influence. And it speaks about alternative programs for people who might not be suited for going to prison. It speaks about programs, if I recall, for either outpatient or inpatient care in various alcoholic programs. So you're in favor of that, I take it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what about the second offender? Do you feel that we should be more harsh on the second offender?
The second offender does have increased penalties, and definitely they've had their chance. They can enter the first offenders program with their first offense. They go to the rehabilitation programs, and hopefully they will be rehabilitated. If they haven't been convinced after that, then the second offense does, bring greater penalties.
Mm-hmm. Now, what should a person do if they see a drunk driver on the road?
Ideally, they should look for the nearest phone and call 911 after they have looked at the car, got a description of it, license if possible, and which direction it was heading. And the police, they'll try to follow up. You have to understand that the priorities the police have. And if at all possible, if there's an officer in the area, they will pursue the drunk driver. They can't always, depending on their situation. But the officers would like us to call if we see a drunk driver.
Mm-hmm. And should you try to pass or stay behind a drunk driver?
We say stay behind because then you can watch them and anticipate what's going to happen. If you try to pass them, a lot of physical characteristics change when you're driving, and the thing that gets the drunk driver fastest are the eyes, and they end up having tunnel vision. And most often, a person involved in a drunk driving accident, it will be a passenger or a pedestrian, a car pulling out from the side. So if you go to pass this individual, his peripheral vision has been impaired, and that's fairly dangerous.
Now, Jennifer, I've been reading in the paper recently a whole series of articles in the news journal about driving under the influence. Did you have anything to do with that?
We wish we did, but we didn't. We were very fortunate. The press coverage has been just terrific. My husband says right now that drunk drivers and M.A.D.D are about as hot as Pac-Man. Everybody is doing a thing, and we're really very happy. One of the main reasons we're very happy, besides just that we want the whole idea and the problem brought to light, is that right now it's prom time and graduation. And with young people, this is a very heavy drinking period. And hopefully a lot of them are reading the articles too.
Mm-hmm. What about the legal drinking age? What's M.A.D.'s position on that?
Well, the current age is 20. Most states it is 20 or 21. Delaware is close. The problem lies when other states have a age that is different from ours. For example, Maryland just raised theirs. And so the people will now be driving into Delaware to do their drinking. So it's going to mean that certain highways that are very close to the border are going to be more hazardous on the weekends because of the drivers changing states where the laws are more to their advantage, the young people. So a uniform drinking age would probably be most advantageous throughout the United States, so you would avoid this problem.
I understand that there's some type of experimental tablet that's being developed that's supposed to help the drunk driver absorb the alcohol in the blood, or do I have the concept incorrect?
Well, this drug does not change their BAC, their blood alcohol concentration. Supposedly it will counteract some of the effects that alcohol has, but it is in experimental stages, and there isn't a lot of information on it just yet.
Mm-hmm. Would you be in favor of development of some drug like that?
M.A.D.D is not a temperance group. We're not against drinking, but we're against drinking and driving, and ideally we prefer people not to drink and drive, period. This drug that they're talking about doesn't totally negate the effects of alcohol. It just lessens them slightly. And people have a tendency to lean on this blood alcohol of 0.10, and M.A.D.D would like to see that lowered to 0.08, as being all right to drive if you're at that point. And that's not true. You are under the influence starting at about 0.05. It's just that most states have picked 0.10 as the point of almost no return. And you're under the influence much before 0.10. And we don't really, you just shouldn't drink and drive, period. But if you're going to drink, the thing would do is to be a responsible drinker and to know your limit. And that is determined by your body weight, the time you drink, the period over which you drink, and the type of alcohol you are consuming.
Now again, where can the viewers call if they want to get information about M.A.D.D or want to become involved?
At 655-0366.
And do you welcome new members?
Oh, most definitely.
Well, it sounds like a very good organization. I wish you continued success in your future endeavors. Are you going to be expanding your program?
Yes. Well, we do a lot of public speaking, and any groups or organizations that would like speakers, we'd be happy to accommodate them.
Well, Jennifer Carr, your organization is very important for the safety of our community, and I invite all of you who are mad about drunk drivers to get involved with M.A.D.D too. They deserve your support. That's been Jennifer Carr. She's the Newcastle County Coordinator for Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. Now we're going to go to some short messages.